Hello and welcome to this week's Tharstern Techchat. I'm pleased to be joined by our solution specialist, Phil Dodge. Hi, Phil. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, Ross. Hi there, guys.
Thanks for joining us, Phil. Question today is regarding point of sale campaigns. So, for example, you've got a big retail store or something that they've come to you with a big campaign they want to do. What's the quickest way I could estimate that? And then if they go ahead and want to book it in as a job, how can I convert it and manage all the distribution? What's the quickest way to get all of that into the system?
Well, that Ross is a great question. I'm going to just quickly share my screen, and what we'll do is we'll basically fire up a little video to show you exactly that process. So we can actually see here that what I'm going to be able to do is utilizing the project estimating module to do this, and the stock module and the sales order module. We can actually manage that process through start through to finish. So we start off within something called project estimates. This allows us to have 2 or more estimates in something called a project. And you can see that I'm opening up a file on my desktop here, which is not untypical for a point of sale campaign, which actually describes individual line entries which represent SKU items. And then there's a series of columns here with a variety of pieces of information, such as the proposed SKU item, the dimensions and sizes, materials, finishing, and as we can see there, the store distribution of each one of the SKUs, and then the total quantity. So it's this kind of stuff that we need to consume. So I'm creating a project here for a Sainsbury's retail campaign. And we obviously link this to Sainsbury's. We can see that this calls up the Sage integration to identify the credit worthiness of them. And what we're able to do is save this project. But more importantly, what we can do is we can add estimates, particularly if they're non-rectangular, or if they're just flat sheet ones, we can import a CSV file based upon a Tharstern estimate product type, as you can see, a ticketing one here. And what I'm referencing that campaign, evaluated that, we've previously loaded it. So that's great for customers that give you the same format each week or month.
So it remembers the format.
Correct, indeed it does. And as you can see here, all the actual headings which basically have been mapped are in green. But if you needed to actually map new ones, as I'm doing for the customer SKU code, I just actually map to a series of attributes here, in which in this case is a proposed SKU code, and that becomes a green entry. Now there could be some other items or columns in here that are relevant to us, but you can also see there's the things that have been mapped in terms of colors and various other things, and then the final quantity. And at this stage, that's all we're really interested in, rather than the actual distribution itself. And you'll notice I've selected a group of these items because I could elect to actually process them, section by section. But in this case, I'm going to process them all under one product type. And you can see we do a verification to make sure the data is fine and dandy, and then we actually hit the create estimate option. And what this does in our particular integration here is linking to a product called InSoft Imp in order to actually put these dimensionally different items up on the various sheets. So what's happening here is, as you can see, they are being generated to actually generate our estimates. I'm just going to speed this up here, and you can see that we've actually got estimates actually being generated, and we can look at those. And in this case, we've got 2 estimates to describe these items. And when I open these up, you can see them being imposed, and you'll see all the quantities and versions with all the details there. And that little button there is showing you the proposed SKU code that's been consumed from that CSV file. Now we can actually look at the second one of these estimates, and we can see there's actually multiple parts assigned to it, or lays, I should say. And this basically means that we've got our 2 estimates for a total price of £755, which I'm changing to £1,500, and that's pro-rating that increase across those 2 estimates. So I don't have to edit each individual estimate separately. And I can then output this as basically a combined estimate or project letter, and that could be done in a variety of different formats. So I've got my project, and you can see the total markup and selling price, and then I've got my individual estimates in the estimating list, which I can now convert into jobs.
And hang on a minute. So just very quickly there, within what, 2.5 minutes, you've taken, maybe a little bit longer, speeded up the import of it a little bit, but within a 2 or 3 minutes, we've taken a spreadsheet and created an estimate for all of them different product requirements.
Absolutely. So wow. It could be, I've seen it where it could be, literally hundreds of items. And please bear in mind that you can still add to that project non-rectangular items as well. So we get basically a huge number of items within a single project.
Cool.
Project.
So now we're going to create a job. Yeah.
Correct. Well, actually, multiple jobs, as it turns out. Again, just so that you can see that we can stop individuals bypassing credit limit areas if necessary. But we've got our two jobs being created from those individual estimates, which is great. But you'll notice that when we go into the stock area here, the proposed SKU codes do not exist inside our stock or inventory system. Now, obviously that is going to be the case, but we would need this to be dynamically done, and the linking of the proposed SKU codes gives us the option to do that. So what we're actually going to see next is that these jobs have been raised here, and you can see the sub jobs represent the individual versions with those proposed SKU codes as I go through there, because it's consumed that data. And we can actually save these two jobs, which are now linked in a series, so we can see the entire campaign at a glance. We could output works instruction or job jackets, but we're just going to see here in this particular case that we've got our jobs generated, and more importantly, we can see that those individual SKU items linked to the job with the work in progress transactions have been created in the stock or inventory system dynamically, and we can see there's none in stock and none available at this point in time. So that's kind of cool as well, because we don't have to manually create those SKUs. And I'm just going to manufacture these, and I could see all the versions here and do overs. Obviously, we've bypassed scheduling and all the other processes, but this is just to show you that once you've actually manufactured these jobs, it then actually knows the quantities that have been manufactured, and this then increments obviously the stock or inventory system, and we can now see these items are in stock and are available for use. Now that's great, but of course the next challenge is we need to be able to actually manage the distribution. So what we're doing here is we're using the distribution import. And in this particular case, the original CSV file has got basically the store designations, as we can see there, Sainsbury's 001-001, 002, 003, and 004, representing 4 separate stores. And it could be a lot more than this. It could also be that there could be a separate CSV file different from the original estimate import file. And using our professional services team, they can map these formats. So what I'm doing here is I'm wanting to basically generate a series of sales orders, and you can see there's no sales orders in there currently with the filters applied, and I'm just basically going to drag and drop that CSV file into a little hot folder. It's going to process that information, and what it's doing is it's dynamically generating a sales order per individual store. You can see they've allocated that, and when I open each one of those sales orders, we can see all the associated SKU items linked to that particular retail store or outlet. And that makes that process, you know, a lot easier for us to actually manage.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. We can also look at the line listings as well, because you can see that this is breaking all this down in the sales order processing module to actually see the line entries or the SKUs for each of those stores, so we can see what's happening with the pick, pack and allocation areas. And what we can do is, in this particular case, we're looking at creating a picking list effectively per store. And this is just a crystal report that's being output. It could include images as well to see the items that are concerned.
Yeah.
And we could, of course, go through the full fulfillment routine, which includes the mobile inventory if we wish to do so. So there's a lot of scope to manage this entire process. But hopefully that's a bit of a whistle-top tour, if you like, to see how you can do a start to end for dealing with retail campaigns.
That is very powerful. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for showing us that. You've answered the question perfectly. You know, how the quickest way, I think, is by using that import and then letting the system do all the processing for you, really. So yeah, thank you very much. So hope you found that useful. If you have any questions about this, then meet us in the comments below. And if you've got any questions you'd like us to cover in Tharstern Techchat, then please get in touch or drop us a comment, and we'll be happy to try and answer for you. Thanks again, Phil, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. Bye.